taller than me. He's like 6'2", which is why I don't understand why his hands are the size of someone who's 5'2". Have you seen his hands? And you know what they say about men with small hands?
And on the far left, the Obama record, it has there a little downward arrow, a little red arrow, all right? We have fewer jobs under President Obama. Then there's unemployed and underemployed. That's gone up. That's in red because that's a bad direction. Then we have the unemployment rate. That's bad too. That's why that's in red. Then we have home prices. They've gone down. That's in red too. Then we have the budget deficit. That's gone up. That's in red. And then finally we have family income. That's gone down. All measures he laid out are measures that have gone in the wrong direction. And so I have my own record, and you can see it, by the way, on here.
It's our military that we love. We can't beat ISIS. We're going to beat ISIS. We're going to beat them quickly. We're going to knock the hell out of them. We shouldn't have been there in the first place, but we're going to knock the hell out of them, and we have to rebuild our country. That's when our country became great again. We will make America great again. Thank you, Wisconsin. I love you. Go out and vote. I love you. You go out and vote. I love you.
Okay, Stephen Baldwin, hi. You're against legalizing marijuana. Why?
Well, it's a little bit ironic. I could see why Jimmy wanted to rush out of there so quickly. Here you're looking at an actor that has starred in two very popular marijuana films, Half-Baked and Biodome. And, you know, here I am bringing a faith-based conservative perspective to this issue. And, you know, obviously, Joy, there's a lot of common sense that needs to be included in this conversation. It's a very simple reality. Marijuana leads to doing worse things. That's just a fact. I don't care what anybody says, what the debate is. When you smoke marijuana at a young age, it'll usually lead to alcohol abuse and harder drugs. So right there, I mean, that's one reason why it should not be legalized.
We've heard that for years, that it's a gateway drug. What do you say to that, Congressman Paul?
In the wealthiest country in the history of the world is that almost all of the wealth and much of the income is going to the top 1%. And our job together is to change that reality. There is something profoundly wrong in our country when the top 1/10 of 1%, not 1%, 1/10 of 1% owns almost as much wealth as the bottom 90%. That is immoral. That is wrong.
Enormous efforts to enforce the gun laws that we have and to change the culture of violence we have. And you ask, how are we going to do that? And there are a number of things. He mentioned good schools. I totally agree. We were able to drive our schools to be #1 in the nation in my state. And I believe if we do a better job in education, we'll give people the hope and opportunity they deserve and perhaps less violence from that. But let me mention another thing, and that is parents. We need moms and dads helping raise kids. Wherever possible, the benefit of having two parents in the home, and that's not always possible. A lot of great single moms, single dads. But gosh, to tell our kids that before they have babies, they ought to think about getting married to someone, that's a great idea. Because if there's a two-parent family, the prospect of living in poverty goes down dramatically. The opportunities that the child will be able to achieve increase dramatically.
I come from a rural state, and the views on gun control in rural states are different than in urban states, whether we like it or not.
If Monica Lewinsky says that while you were in the Oval Office area you touched her breast, would she be lying?
Let me say something about all this.
All I really need for you, Mr. President, is to say I won't answer under the previous grounds or to answer the question. You see, because we only have 4 hours and your answers are extremely lengthy.
But go ahead and ask your questions.
Question is, if Monica Lewinsky says that while you were in the Oval Office area, you touched her breast, would she be lying?
That is not my recollection. My recollection is that I did not have sexual relations with Ms. Lewinsky, and I'm staying on my former statement about that.
If she
my statement is that I did not have sexual relations as defined by that.
If she says that you kissed her breast, would she be lying?
I'm going to revert to my former statement.
Okay. If Monica Lewinsky says that while you were in the Oval Office area, you touched her genitalia, would she be lying? That calls for a yes, no, or reverting to your former statement.
I will revert to my statement on that.
If Monica Lewinsky says that you used a cigar as a sexual aid with her in the Oval Office area, would you be lying? Yes, no, or won't answer?
I will revert to my former statement.
If Monica Lewinsky says that you had phone sex with her, would she be lying?
Well, that is, at least in general terms, I think is covered by my statement. I addressed that in my statement, and that I don't believe is...
Let me define phone sex for purposes of my question. Phone sex occurs when a party to a phone conversation masturbates while the other party is talking in a sexually explicit manner. And the question is, if Monica Lewinsky says that you had phone sex with her, would she be lying?
I think that is covered by my statement.
Anna, how you would protect the environment better than all the other candidates up on that stage?
Yeah, Anna, I have put forward a plan, and I'm the only candidate, I believe, in either party to do this, to move America forward to a 100% clean electric grid by 2050. We did not land a man on the moon with an all-of-the-above strategy. It was an intentional engineering.
Every nation in every region now has a decision to make. Either you are with us or you are with the terrorists.
Too many OBGYNs aren't able to practice their love with women all across this country.
If you're a single mother with 2 children, which is the toughest job in America as far as I'm concerned, and you're working hard to put food on your family. Our enemies are innovative and resourceful, and so are we. They never stop thinking about new ways to harm our country and our people, and neither do we. It would be a mistake for the United States Senate to allow any kind of human cloning to come out of that chamber. This Thursday, ticket counters and airplanes will fly out of Ronald Reagan Airport. I hear there's rumors on the internets. I know the human being and fish can coexist peacefully.
Welcome back to Hannity. As one of my next guests points out in her latest column, there is a glaring double standard when it comes to how the mainstream media responds when provocative language is used to attack women. Now, when liberal women are targeted, the press is quick to rally to their defense, but when conservative women are subjected to vile attacks, well, it's a different story. So tonight, we thought we'd take a moment, remind you of some of the disgraceful rhetoric that the left has used when talking about women on the right side of the political spectrum, like this.
Like this right-wing slut, what's her name, Laura Ingraham? Yeah, she's a talk slut.
All thanks to the total, mindless, morally bankrupt, knee-jerk, fascistic hatred without which Michelle Malkin would just be a big mashed-up bag of meat with lipstick on it.
I think Sarah Palin proved herself to be, I think she's proven herself to be profoundly stupid. Before this debate, Secretary Clinton's campaign put out a lot of reversals on positions on Keystone and many other things.
Everybody on this stage has changed a position or two. We've been around a cumulative quite some period of time. I never took a position on Keystone until I took a position.